the definition of Russianness is extremely limited. And I find it strange that he would then be labeled suddenly Russian. Extract individuals like Malevich, Russia's war against Ukraine, I think is clearly genocidal. Um, well, by profession, I was a professor of Slavic studies, specifically Ukrainian language and literature, and I specialized in Ukrainian modernism and the avant-garde. I wrote the first book on Ukrainian futurism, and I was very lucky that it was translated into Ukrainian as well. More recently, I've been working on Nikolai Gogol, Mykola Gogol, and in all these works, I've been very interested in the concept of Ukrainian-Russian relations, and specifically how Ukrainians and Russians formed their modern cultures. So this event was completely up my alley, so to say, and I was very happy to come here when the invitation was extended. Yes, I think he's a good example of the problems that exist um, in trying to define a person's identity and place him or her in a particular national culture. For me, in particular, he is interesting, almost in the same way that Hohol is interesting. Is that I see him working in a what I call an imperial environment, an imperial culture, meaning an environment that was not just one culture. But consisted of many cultures. In this case, specifically, it's a Ukrainian and Russian and to some degree Polish. So my interest lies in trying to um, e- extract individuals like him, like Malevich and Hohol, from this tyranny of Russianness, because it seems to me that the definition of Russianness is extremely limited. And it's not even reflective of what the political circumstances and the cultural circumstances were when he worked. So I see an individual that worked in a multicultural, in a multi-ethnic, and a multinational environment. He came from a very specific national background. In this case, it was Ukrainian Polish. And I find it strange that he would then be labeled suddenly Russian, uh, as if his background, the place where he was born, were immaterial to our understanding of him as an artist and as a cultural individual. So this can be said both about Malevich and Hohol. Both lived in extraordinary, complex cultural and political conditions, and I think it is wrong and simplistic to simplify uh, who they were and what they did by the term Russian, because it doesn't convey the complexity of their life nor their art. Well, I think this moment of war, Russia's war against Ukraine, I think is clearly genocidal, and hence, I think questions of nations, of identities, becomes very important. So I think we often will choose individuals in order to use them as a vehicle to discuss broader issues and broader dangers. Because what now Ukraine faces, should Russia win this war, is annihilation as a nation, as a people. Putin has made that clear. He wants Ukrainians to be Russians, and that would involve violence and coercion and death. So I think that by examining these historical figures, we can shed some light on what's going on today, because issues of identity have been crucial for the Russian Empire. The Russian Empire has been trying to create a quote unquote Russian nation out of this multi ethnic conglomerate, always failing, but then trying again and again, uh, sometimes discursively, uh, ideologically, but as we see now, through violence. If Russia cannot convince Ukrainians by words and by logic, it will use guns to achieve its goals. Yes, I think that the question of appropriation of culture, appropriation of individuals by strong powers, um, resonates uh, throughout the globe. Um, you know, Africa is an example. Anywhere, any place that suffered imperialism and colonialism, I think can identify with what Ukraine is going through. Well, I think this is a good way of um, seeing how we can conceptualize certain problems. How do we speak about these problems to people who are not that well versed in the Ukrainian world or in the Slavic world in general? So I think often a figure of his stature can convey a problem that might be more difficult to convey if it was in the abstract.